The route was short tonight, barely enough to impress anyone online. Just damn sidewalks, yellow traffic lights, and tired legs, dragging through another weekday. Office badge still in my pocket, convenience store, coffee in hand, stretching beside vending machines while cars pass by without noticing how difficult it was to even start running tonight. There are runs, people celebrate loudly, fast splits, race photos, perfect sunrise miles, but this wasn't one of them at all. Miles nobody would be impressed by, still carried effort, still carried stress, still carried the version of me, trying quietly not to disappear inside routine again. My breathing sounded rough against the empty riverside path. Playlist repeating songs I barely heard anymore, while thoughts from work kept replaying themselves between footsteps. And still something about movement helped, even slowly, even awkwardly, even when progress felt invisible beneath sweat and ordinary exhaustion. I used to believe only big achievements mattered, but some nights survival itself felt worthy of recognition too. Miles nobody would be impressed by became the runs I needed most, not for records, not for validation, just to hear my own thoughts without the noise of the entire day. For someone, the run is emotional recovery. For someone, a break from pressure. For someone, the only hour where life feels slightly lighter to carry. And none of those reasons appear on fitness apps, because effort doesn't always translate cleanly into visible numbers people admire quickly. The older I become, the more I respect ordinary consistency, the kind built quietly after draining shifts, through weather, through difficult seasons. Miles nobody would be impressed by still change me slowly, because not every important distance looks extraordinary while you're living through it step by step. People notice dramatic transformations because they photograph well, but quieter endurance usually happens unnoticed beneath street lights, beneath stress, beneath unfinished adult lives. And maybe strength isn't always intensity. Maybe it's jogging softly through another exhausting evening instead of surrendering to stillness completely. Miles nobody would be impressed by became proof that I kept choosing movement through difficult years, through tired nights, through every version of myself that almost stayed home instead. Short distance, heavy heart, still finished. The traffic light changed twice before I caught my breath. Hoodie sleeve damp from wiping sweat away, while faster runners disappeared far beyond the next intersection. My running app kept speaking, split times I didn't like, numbers falling short of what I imagined when I first promised myself I would become stronger this year. It's easy to feel behind now, everyone moving visibly, posting victories, perfect training blocks, effort edited cleanly for small glowing screens. Every night, going slowly still counts, even when progress feels invisible, even when your breathing sounds heavier than everyone around you, because continuing imperfectly still moves you farther than quitting comfortably ever will. Some nights I stop beside vending machines, pretending to stretch while secretly wondering if I was built for distances like these at all.
But tired footsteps kept returning anyway, across familiar sidewalks, past closed restaurants, through humid air and half-finished self-belief again.
I expected growth to feel more dramatic, but most change arrived quietly, through slower miles, through awkward beginnings, through not giving up on difficult weeks. Going slowly teaches different things: patience, humility, and how to stay gentle with your soul. And maybe strength isn't becoming untouchable. Maybe it's allowing yourself to grow honestly without rushing the person you're still becoming. Going slowly still counts through crowded nights, through self-doubt, through every quiet mile where part of you wanted to stop completely but kept moving forward anyway. Slow footsteps, steady heartbeat, still counting. Sweat cooling slowly through the back of my shirt. Crosswalk lights blinking across empty streets, while another unfinished chorus kept circling quietly inside tired lungs. Convenience store doors open, warm air brushing past me. Sports drink in one hand, phone glowing in the other, as another thought arrived before exhaustion could erase it again. So I pressed record softly, breathing still uneven, half-written lyrics, broken melodies, traffic noise between sentences, like the city itself was listening for a moment. Voice memos full of maybe someday, safe between long runs, late shifts, and restless nights. Tiny future versions of myself speaking through static, refusing to fade completely. Some recording stops suddenly, footsteps crossing intersections, train sounds overhead, wind cutting through riverside paths, moments where doubt sat beside me, quiet enough to hear my heart beat clearly. Others carry strange honesty, the kind fatigue creates, where ambition loses performance and turns into something simpler, more human, more difficult to abandon. I used to think dreams arrive fully formed, blood enough to change everything, but most survive differently inside exhausted breathing. After kilometer 7, walking home alone, voice memos full of maybe someday became proof that part of me stayed moving, even when progress slowed, even when practical life tried reducing every dream into something safer. For someone, the recording becomes a song. For someone, a marathon goal. For someone, just evidence their inner world didn't go silent yet. And none of those recordings sound polished. Some carry vending machine noise, wet asphalt footsteps passing, bicycles are tired breathing through old wired earphones. The older I become, the more I admire people who continue creating after draining days, without waiting to feel fully recovered before trying again. Voice memos full of maybe someday still glow inside my pocket. Unfinished hooks, fragile plans, small surviving sparks from every exhausted version of me that kept running anyway. People celebrate finished work because completion feels clean, but unfinished recordings carry fingerprints of real life, heavy breathing, background traffic, and hope interrupted halfway through. And maybe creativity isn't confidence at all. Maybe it's pressing record anyway while standing by these street lights, wondering if the stream still has distance left. Voice memos full of maybe someday. I replay them after long runs sometime, not because they sound perfect, but because hidden inside those rough recordings, I still hear someone chasing tomorrow, one tired step at a time. Wet pavement, low battery, quiet heartbeat, still recording. Till 8 a.m., kitchen light, half-drunk coffee, going cold, microwave clock blinking like it's waiting for someone to finally sleep. Work shoes left crooked near the apartment door, phone battery at 3%, group chats muted while another unfinished idea stays awake inside my head. There was a time I thought dreams belonged to hearts still glow too, even after long shifts, empty trains, missed weekends, and nights spent questioning whether any of this still makes sense. The convenience store lights felt strangely comforting after late runs through humid streets, breathing hard under vending machine glow at midnight. Some dreams survive in tiny places now, inside notes, apps, inside voice memos, inside thoughts recorded quietly before sleep wins. I expected passion to stay explosive, but real life turned it into embers, small enough to fit inside exhausted people without disappearing. Exhausted hearts still glow too, through unread messages, through overtime schedules, through mornings where the mirror reflects someone trying hard not to disappear emotionally. For someone, fatigue comes from parenting. For someone, from survival jobs. For someone, from carrying invisible pressure through years without pause. Certain roads, certain lonely walks home keep reopening something alive inside the chest. The older I become, the more I respect people who continue creating after draining days without waiting to feel fully restored before dreaming again. Exhausted hearts still glow too, not brightly, not constantly, but enough to light another step through another difficult morning again. People admire fire because fire looks powerful, but embers survive longer, quietly holding heat through dark hours. When everything else already burned out, and maybe hope isn't the explosion, maybe it's the last warm thing you protect carefully inside yourself after exhausting years. Exhausted hearts still glow too, I know that now, because some nights the only thing still lighting me was one unfinished dream, refusing to go dark completely. Late night silence, tiny red lights still glowing. There was a time I thought growing older meant becoming realistic, learning which dreams were temporary and which parts of yourself needed to disappear quietly.
So I organized my life into reasonable shapes, steady work, careful answers, predictable routines that look mature enough from the outside.
And still certain nights something restless remained, a small unfinished voice asking questions I pretended not to hear anymore. I never fully outgrew the dream, even after long years, even after disappointment. Something inside me kept reaching quietly toward a future I couldn't completely abandon.
The dream changed shape over time, less dramatic, less loud, but strangely deeper than when I was young and fearless.
Now it survives differently, through tired mornings, through responsibilities, through moments where hope arrives softly instead of all at once.
I used to think passion stayed intense forever, but maybe real dreams learn how to breathe slowly inside ordinary adult life without demanding attention every day. I never fully outgrew the dream, stayed beside me through missed chances, through self-doubt, through seasons where survival alone felt difficult enough.
For someone, the dream is creative work. For someone, freedom. For someone, simply describe maturity as letting go, but maybe maturity is learning which parts of yourself deserve protection, even when they stop looking practical. And maybe some dreams remain unfinished intentionally, not because we failed, but because they continue giving direction to who we are becoming. I never fully outgrew the dream. Now I understand why it was never childish to want more deeply than the world felt comfortable with. Older voice, same horizon, still reaching. Morning train, same station sounds, people moving, half awake, coffee cooling slowly
Beside unread messages
and unfinished sleep.
Nothing about the day looked remarkable. Meetings, traffic lights, laundry waiting at home. The quiet repetition of adult life.
I used to imagine
Dreams arriving loudly through breakthrough moments,
through sudden change,
but real life moved differently than that. Ordinary days, unfinished dreams, it's where I live now. Between responsibility and quiet ambition, between exhaustion and the small voice that still says continue.
some dreams survive strangely, not through confidence, but through refusal, the inability to fully abandon what once made your chest feel alive.
And even after long days, something still remains awake late at night, searching quietly for another version of the future.
I expected purpose to feel clearer, more dramatic, more certain,
But often it feels like protecting a fragile light inside routine. Ordinary days, unfinished dreams still move beside me, through crowded mornings, through tired evenings, through every moment life asks me to become practical.
for someone, the dream is creative freedom. For someone, a better home. For someone,
Simply proving their younger self wasn't naive for believing deeply.
and none of those dreams fully disappear. They change shape, become quieter, less visible, but sometimes far more honest.
The older I become, the more I respect people who protect hope without announcing it, while carrying responsibilities that never pause for inspiration. Ordinary days, unfinished dreams still matter to me deeply, not because success is guaranteed, but because part of me would disappear too if I stopped reaching towards something meaningful.
People often mistake survival for surrender, but some people survive carefully while secretly building small bridges toward the life they still want.
And maybe unfinished dreams aren't failures. Maybe they're evidence that part of your spirit refused to become numb inside ordinary life. Ordinary days, unfinished dreams, that balance shaped me. Not perfectly, not quickly, just slowly enough to understand why I kept trying anyway.
Late night light, quiet heartbeat, still dreaming. There were mornings, nothing inspired me, no fire, no hunger, just dim light through half-open curtains and heavy legs. The playlist ended before I noticed. Coffee cooled beside me while I delayed the simple act of putting shoes on again. I used to think consistency belonged to motivated people, to disciplined minds, to those who woke up certain of themselves. the quiet refusal to disappear completely that day. And strangely, those empty feeling miles still built something inside me. Even when I doubted they mattered at all, I expected growth to feel energizing, but many important changes arrived exhausted, slowly through repetition, without emotional reward. Endurance beyond motivation reshaped my understanding of strength itself. Not intensity, not constant passion, but the ability to return honestly. For someone, motivation disappeared after failure. For someone, after heartbreak. For someone, life simply became heavier than before. And none of those reasons look dramatic from outside. Most are hidden quietly inside schedules, inside silence, inside ordinary mornings. The older I become, the more I respect people who continue gently without needing inspiration every single day to keep moving forward. Endurance beyond motivation still lives inside me now, in calmer persistence, in less panic, and knowing I can continue even when the feeling doesn't arrive first. People celebrate passion because it shines brightly, but endurance often grows in dimmer places where nobody claps for showing up tired again. And maybe maturity is realizing you won't always feel ready, yet choosing movement without waiting for perfect emotion to return. Endurance beyond motivation. Endurance beyond motivation became part of my rhythm. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just a quieter form of trust built over difficult years. Low energy, steady steps, still moving.
I barely remember the exact split times. Numbers faded first faster than expected. What remained instead were fragments without clear order.
Cold air near the start, paper cup shaking, someone breathing hard beside me. Street lights dissolving into early morning fog before the gun.
At the time I thought the meaning lived inside the finish, inside completion,
Inside finally reaching what I chased for months.
years after crossing.
I understand differently now.
The race didn't change my life,
All at once,
it changed
how I carry myself.
through the years after it.
Back then I measured everything through pace,
Through endurance,
through whether I stopped
before the line appeared. Now I notice different things, how calmly I face pressure,
how quietly I recover.
how often I return after difficult seasons.
I expect the transformation to feel dramatic,
The most lasting changes
arrive softly, hidden inside ordinary mornings afterward.
years after crossing.
Certain races still move inside me,
Not as achievement
but as reference points for who I became
when things grew difficult.
later in life. For someone,
It was survival,
for someone,
unfinished healing,
for someone.
the first honest proof they could endure their own doubts.
And none of those meanings stayed frozen. Time reshaped them, added weight.
Remove noise, left only what mattered.
The older I become, the more I believe endurance travels beyond sport.
Certain efforts keep teaching you long after the crowd disappears.
Years after crossing, I still hear parts of that day.
In difficult decisions,
In silent resilience
in the strange comfort,
of knowing
I stayed moving.
when quitting felt cleaner.
Most people think races end at the tape,
but some continue quietly.
through posture,
Through perspective,
through the way you survive.
ordinary years afterward.
And maybe memory keeps certain finishes alive, because they revealed something
You needed much later.
not just back then. Years after crossing,
The finish line looks smaller now.
but what it awakened
Inside me,
kept expanding.
through every season.
That followed,
Old race, bib,
new life
still.
crossing. The barriers were gone hours ago. Crowds is out,
Into traffic lights,
paper cups drifting near empty sidewalks.
under fading skies.
Medals tucked away, shoes left near the door.
Notifications slowing.
One by one until the room returned to silence.
There was a time I believed finish lines would hold something permanent.
A feeling strong enough to outlast ordinary days.
Long after the finish line, something remained.
Not the applause, not the numbers,
Just a quieter version of myself, walking home differently.
the body remembers in unusual ways. Stairs feel softer,
Breathing steadier.
small movements carrying echoes of distant effort.
And certain mornings still contain pieces of races.
Nobody mentions anymore.
Stored somewhere beneath routine and passing years.
I stopped expecting completion from achievement, because every ending
Quietly opened.
is another conversation with myself.
Long after the finish line,
The road kept speaking, through habits, through posture,
through the strange comfort
of returning before dawn. For someone,
the race was survival.
for someone,
Unfinished redemption.
for someone.
Proof they could still meet themselves honestly under pressure.
None of those meanings stay fixed. The age shifts shape, gather different weight through different seasons of life.
The older I get, the less I believe running is about arrival. Somewhere along the years, it became more about
Remaining connected to something essential.
long after the finish line.
I still return, not to repeat the past,
But to recognize
who survived it and kept moving anyway. Most finish lines
disappear quickly.
paint washed away,
Photos forgotten.
but certain efforts
Continue living
inside your nervous system.
And maybe endurance isn't measured by how hard you push.
But by what quietly stayed alive.
After everything settled, long after the finish line,
The road still exists,
not demanding,
not urgent,
just waiting.
like an old language.
My body never forgot.
Empty streets,
Older heartbeat,
still
hearing the chorus. My feet kept time with the ground, steady, predictable, like they've done 100 times before. But my mind wasn't here, it drifted past the street to places that don't move at all. I've trained for focus, for presence, for control. Every step of something slipped without warning. Running, but somewhere else, not lost, not gone, just split between what moves and what stays behind. The rhythm stayed unchanged, no stumble, no break, still something felt disconnected. Like I was watching from outside, a version of me doing it right without being fully there. I've tried to fix it, pull it back, stay in the moment, stay on track, but forcing it only pushed me further away. Running, but somewhere else, not weaker, not wrong, just carrying more than one place at once. For some includes everything they didn't say yet. And none of it shows in the strides, till it moves through every step they take. No correction to make, no version to fix, just movement that includes everything inside. Running, but somewhere it still counts, still stays, not because it's perfect, but because it continues. Not every run is present, some are carried through distance without focus. And what you hold while moving might matter more than how you run it. Running, but somewhere else. Running, but somewhere else. Running, but somewhere else is still a run, not divided, not broken, just real in a way you don't name. Body here, mind away. Still forward. I saw a version up ahead, not faster, just familiar, like something I used to be without knowing when. Same posture, same rhythm, way of moving. I remember before I started thinking this much. I've changed things, adjusted form, fixed mistakes, tracked progress, but something in that stride felt easier. Running next to who I was, not behind, not ahead, just close enough to notice what I left and what stayed. There were days I forced control, perfect pace, perfect breath, trying to become something I thought I should be. But that version up ahead didn't carry any of that, just moved like it belonged to the road. I've tried to improve, to evolve, to be better, to be more, but maybe I stepped away from something that worked. Running next to who I was, not to return, not to chase, just to see what I'd forgotten, trying to move forward. For someone, it's progress. For someone, it's control. For someone, it's letting go of something they built too tightly. And somewhere in between. And somewhere in between, there's a pace that fits, not forced, not lost, just theirs. No version to reject, no self to replace, just movement that includes everything I've been. Running next to who I was, still counts, still holds, not because it's better, but because it's still me. Not every step is forward, some circle back to remind what felt right before you questioned it. And what you were might not be gone, just waiting to be included again. Running next to who I was became how I run, not divided, not replaced, just carried into what I am now. Same road to self, still moving. Nothing stood out, no clear shift, no moment I could name, just days folding into each other. What I did felt ordinary, no edge, no highlight, just something I return to again. I've looked for change, invisible ways, something distinct, something new, but this didn't arrive like that. Over time it stayed, not louder, not defined, just something that remained when other things didn't. There were gaps, missed days, uneven effort, unclear direction, nothing consistent on the surface. Still something didn't lead, it held through breaks, through doubt, through quiet. I've questioned if it mattered, if any of this would stay, but nothing answered in the moment. Over time it stayed, without asking, without proof, not built in a line, but in what didn't disappear. For someone it's routine, for someone just showing up, for someone it's holding on without a clear reason. And none of it looks the same, still it becomes something they carry forward. measure to define, no scale to hold, just time that didn't erase it. Over time it stayed. Over time it stayed. Over time it stayed. Over time it stayed. Still counts, still shapes. Not because it's seen, but because it remained. Not everything needs to grow, some things just need to stay long enough. And what remains through time might matter more than anything that changes fast. Over time it stayed and became part of me. Not clearly, not loudly, but in everything I didn't let go of. No moment, no claim, still it stayed.
He used to locate exits without looking, a quiet awareness of where it could end. If needed, if things shifted too far. She ran with options, folded into motion, shortened routes, adjusted effort. A built-in way to reduce what became too much. Not avoidance, just design, a structure that allowed control over when to stop. The eggs that didn't fit stayed where it was, unchanged, unmoved. But something in me no longer aligned with stepping toward it. Another carried the same habit, measured limits, defined thresholds, knowing exactly how far was required to be enough. But the equation shifted quietly, not the distance, not the pace, just the relevance of stopping lost its place. No clear moment to define it, no reason to explain, just a gradual misalignment that stayed. The eggs that didn't fit remained available, unchanged, within reach, but it didn't belong to the way I continued anymore. The road extended, as always, same rhythm, same turns, but hesitation didn't attach the way it used to. The thought arrived, you can stop here, familiar, expected, but it passed through without holding. Not rejected, not resisted, just unaccepted by something deeper. The eggs that didn't fit lost its function, not removed, not closed, just absent from the way I moved forward. Some paths don't disappear, they remain until they no longer match who you are. What once felt necessary becomes distant, not because it changed, but because you did. The eggs that didn't fit still exist somewhere unchanged, but I don't move in that direction anymore. It didn't close, I just outgrew it.
I almost stayed inside that morning, shoes untouched, time unclaimed, no urgency to begin. Just a day I could let pass. Then I saw you, not approaching, not announcing, just already moving through the road like it belonged to you. No introduction, no context, no reason to remember, but something in that motion refused to fade. The runner I saw didn't speak, didn't look, didn't slow. became inevitable without force. You were still there ahead, not distant, not close, just enough to exist in my mind. No words, no exchange, no shared moment to define it. Still something remained after. The runner I saw became direction, not because you led, but because you moved. Maybe you don't know what stayed with me, but something did. The runner I saw still moves through every run, not in front, not behind, but present in a way I can't explain. I didn't follow you, I followed what it left. He didn't notice when I started, no shift he could name. Just a routine, carry forward until it wasn't enough anymore. She moved through days that looked complete, everything in place, nothing missing. But something subtle stopped responding to what once felt right. No disruption, no visible break, just a quiet distance growing between what was lived and what was felt. Where it became clear wasn't loud, no signal, no turning point, just a moment that didn't argue any longer. Another in a familiar route, pace consistent, breath controlled, but something inside the motion felt unclaimed. He had reasons he could explain, a system that held together, but clarity doesn't always follow structure. Different lives, different thresholds, same quiet moment when staying lost its meaning. Where it became clear didn't resolve anything, it simply removed what I could no longer pretend. The first step after that felt different, not stronger, just irreversible. The road didn't change, but I did, and suddenly everything aligned without force. No confirmation, no approval, no sign that it was right, only a stillness that remained after doubt left. Where it became clear held its ground through hesitation, through distance, through every urge to return to what was known. Not a breakthrough, not a decision, just recognition arriving late, but exact. Where it became clear keeps unfolding, not easier, not defined, but closer with every step to something undeniable. No one saw it, no one named it, but nothing after was the same. The plan was simple, written before doubt. Numbers set clear and quiet, pace defined, no adjustment. Before fatigue had
after long days that watch your records, but the road knows more. Years ago I chased numbers, split times felt urgent, but distance changes ambition, longevity adjusts the rhythm. Speed was loud, but patience lasts longer. Some runners rush improvement, others let miles teach slowly. Progress rarely shouts. A pace built slowly doesn't break, it grows through repetition, through quiet miles, through ordinary days, until the stride becomes home. Recovery became training, holding back became wisdom. Progress hides inconsistency in showing up when nothing demands it. Anyone can run fast once, but building pace takes patience. Years, not weeks. A pace built slowly moves deeper, not louder, not rushed, just steady through seasons, through distance, through time. Speed impresses, patience endures. Speed impresses. A pace built slowly outlasts. Records outlasts moments and carries a runner farther. Miles past, years past, the pace remained. Somewhere in memory there's a rhythm, light steps, steady breath. Miles opened easily when I asked, splits lined up without resistance. Back then, running felt simpler. The watch still counts, but the body answers differently. Recovery speaks more often. Pacing changed, longevity rewrote the rules, but the rhythm never vanished. Sometimes on certain mornings I feel it briefly, the pace I remember moving through my stride. The pace I remember doesn't disappear. It waits inside the miles, not demanding, not chasing, just reminding who ran before. The younger runner chased seconds today. I chase years, miles that last longer than one result. Consistency over speed. The rhythm returns in quiet moments when the road feels familiar, not the same, but close enough. The pace I remember runs beside me, sometimes ahead, sometimes behind, but always part of the runner I became. Speed fades, but rhythm learns to stay. inside the breath, inside the stride. Not faster, just deeper through years of running. The road continues, and somewhere inside it, that pace remains.
The road was quiet, just my steps. Rhythm of breath, steady but tired. No crowd waiting, no finish line. Just another mile inside the routine. The mind counting small discomforts. The body asking for negotiation. Today felt longer than usual. Years ago I chased speed, split times to find a run. But distance changes the rules. Longevity asks for patience. Ego fades, pacing remains. Consistency takes the lead. Most runs pass unnoticed. No applause for showing up. Miles build slowly, day by day. Invisible work, quiet progress. This is where runners are shaped. Then suddenly, the sound of encouragement. Not loud, not dramatic, just a voice from the side of the road. And something shifts, a tired stride finds rhythm again. Because sometimes one voice is enough. Recovery taught a different strength. Holding back is also skill. Progress hides in restraint. The road rewards those who stay. No rush, no spectacle, just a long conversation with effort. Most people will never see the discipline behind a runner. Morning miles unrecorded. Evening runs unnoticed, but the road remembers every return. And sometimes the sound of encouragement arrives quietly, a simple keep going. Nothing heroic, but enough to carry the next mile. Running is mostly silence. Wind, footsteps, breath. But when a voice breaks that silence, the road feels lighter. The sound of encouragement travels farther than expected. Through fatigue, through doubt, until a runner finds another stride. Not faster, just farther. One voice, 1 mile. One voice, 1 mile. One voice, 1 mile. One voice, 1 mile. The run continues. Some days running feels unnecessary. No race, no record waiting ahead.
Just a quiet morning and a pair of shoes, and a long list of reasons to skip today. Heavy legs, busy hours, maybe tomorrow. That sentence almost wins. I'm not the runner,